Welcome back. This is Business Extra. Now, today has seen what's probably the biggest change in newspaper publishing in Norwich and Norfolk for a fair number of years. The Eastern Daily Press and the Norwich Evening News have been relaunched with a new look and a bit of a change to the way things are laid out. So is there plenty of life left in the print media yet? Dave Powles, their editor, is my guest tonight, and we'll hear his thoughts in just a few moments. But first, let's catch up on this week's business headlines. And there's really only one place to start. That's the famous name of the Norwich and Peterborough Building Society that's set to disappear from the High Street. The owners of the Yorkshire Building Society Group announced yesterday plans to close 14 branches in Norfolk, including this one on the Aylsham Road in Norwich. It's a move which will put around 100 jobs at risk. The company said that the decision was made to more and more people use digital services rather than rely on the high street. Now, a Norwich firm that designs software for insurance businesses says it's hoping to expand. Around 70% of insurance companies in the UK use a platform that was designed by a company called Validus, which is based on Princes Street. The business has a turnover around £7 million. Bosses say they're now in talks to launch in Australia and South Africa, where insurance laws are similar. And big changes could be on the way for Anglia Square, giving a boost to the entertainment and night out industry in Norwich. Members of the Norwich Society have said that the shopping centre would be an ideal location for what they describe as a much needed concert hall for the city. They made the suggestion in response to Norwich City Council's consultation on its blueprint for the future of the area, arguing it would be a big attraction for names for the world of music and comedy. And full marks to our graphics team for that ingenious use of the Sydney Opera House. Now, the print media has been under pressure for many years, but today it's marked by a fresh start for the Norwich Evening News and the Eastern Daily Press. They've been relaunched today. Well, it's really the biggest single change to the newspaper publishing in Norfolk for many a year. Their editor-in-chief, Dave Powles, is my guest. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Now, the old adage is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why make changes?
Well, let's start with that. I'd like to think it isn't broken. We're still fortunate enough to get staggering numbers of people who read our products. So the Eastern Daily Press still sells around 40,000 a day, Evening News around 10,000. Online, we're talking double those figures for both titles. But of course, there's no denying that we're in a challenging environment, and like every other newspaper publisher, national and regional, it's challenging times. And even if it wasn't, it's wrong to just sort of stand and just think, well, we've got everything licked, let's just carry on regardless, and think that we're the best thing since sliced bread. You should always look at kind of how you can improve things and how you could tweak things. And that's what we've done today, really. We've decided that we feel that we can offer more to our readers in print. And that's where the changes have started today. Brilliant news, local news, strong news stories and fantastic sport remain at the heart of what we do, but we feel that our newspapers can offer more. So we've introduced new sections, so we'll have daily sections. Today is around arts and culture. Tomorrow will be family. We have a fantastic new magazine in the EDP starting on Saturday called My East Anglian Slice of Heaven, which is a lifestyle magazine. And then next week we've got more themes of the day as well. We've tried to bring in some different types of content. So we're taking a sort of bit of a different approach and a different look at some of the news stories, just freshen it up, modernise it really. And I guess, from our point of view, digital is very much a big part of our future here, and our guys are really geared up to try and improve the offering we give to people online. But we're determined to show that we do not believe that print is dead. We believe that the Eastern Daily Press and the Norwich Evening News have got a fantastic future, and there are thousands of people out there who also share our belief. So we just want to continue to invest in print as well as digital to show that it really matters to us, and that's because it still matters to our readers.
Because the changes they're relatively subtle, but you can definitely see the difference. For me, taking a look at them, there's a bit more of an influence of, say, the Metro, for people who've picked that up in London, or the smaller version of the Independent, using some of those different structures and things. Is that kind of the idea, to try and maybe encourage some new people in with a different look?
Obviously, we're always looking to encourage new readers to pick up our printed products. The Eastern Daily Press today has gone out to several homes as a free drop-off. So that is an aim to obviously encourage new readers. But we just felt that in terms of the look and the design of both papers, that perhaps they'd got a bit tired and they could be touched up and brightened up a bit. So yeah, there has been, as you say, subtle changes. The front pages have changed. I guess we're trying to look for a bit of a cleaner look there, and as you touched on a more modern look. So yeah, definitely the design has changed as well.
Can it be a risk doing a relaunch? Because as you said, the reader figures, they're not bad. They've held up when in other parts of the country they've been falling off quite rapidly.
Yeah.
But can it be a risk of upsetting your current audience?
Absolutely, Neil, of course, and that's probably something that's kept me awake at night since I took this job and since we started work on this project. We're really lucky in this part of the country, and people really have a great sense of ownership towards the EDP and the Evening News. And with that ownership, we've got a responsibility not to turn them against it. So there can be risk that there will be there may be an element of people who sort of don't like change or the change, and who will feel we were fine as we were, rightly or wrongly. With my experience and the experience of the rest of the team, we decided that risk was worth taking, and that with our knowledge and with the research that we've done, that we wanted to improve the products. And fingers crossed, and we're getting some really good reaction today. People will see that the quality, improving the quality is at the heart of it, and that they've got a better product at the end of the day.
Because is doing nothing not an option in this day and age when it comes to the print media?
I think that doing nothing is an option, and I think that, to be honest, doing nothing is something that other regional media companies have done, and there's perhaps some of our industry is guilty of managing decline. And as I go back to what I was saying, we do not want to sit here and manage decline. We don't want to sit and do nothing and think, well, everyone's saying that print is dead, so it then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Let's just give up and just forget about the newspapers. That's what's happened elsewhere. We firmly believe that that's not the case. We're passionate about these titles. I'm a Norfolk boy. I grew up with the Eastern Daily Press, my gran giving me copies of that and cutting out the sport for me to read. We want to carry on fighting for people. So no, I guess change, not changing wasn't an option, because we feel that this is the right thing to do, to try and just modernise a little bit more.
Because I'm sure some people like it, some people not so. I'm sure you will have picked up some negative comments today as is part of this process. How do you take those on board? How do you process those and turn them into something positive, I suppose?
It's a really good question, and I've been involved in a couple of relaunches, and they are emotionally, they're quite strange to deal with, because you obviously, we've been working hard, putting a lot of hours into this. Yesterday was a very, very long day. You get very, very excited, and you want it to go really well. And like anything in life, if there are a couple of people who say, oh, well, I don't like this, I don't like that, you tend to concentrate on the negative and forget the positive. That isn't to say that if people do make constructive comments that you should ignore those. Nothing is set in stone. The Eastern Daily Press and the Norwich Evening News that you've got before you today will not necessarily be exactly the same as it may be in a week, 2 weeks. We may not have got everything absolutely right, and if there are bits of it that enough readers say to us, we'll do this and we think it's the right thing to do, then we would change that again.
So it's important to be humble enough to take on the views of readers, I suppose.
Well, if we don't take on the views of readers, then you'd accuse us of being arrogant, and I just think that would be wrong, because if we're not prepared to take on the views of the readers, we have a readers panel with the EDP, and some fantastic stuff has come out of that, and for me that's evidence that we truly want to know the readers' opinions, and we're not going to ignore those readers' opinions, because if we did, we would just be managing decline, because without the readers, we're absolutely nothing. We're not here today.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much indeed. A big day for the papers. Thanks, and a big day for yourself. Thank you very much indeed. And that is all the time we've got for tonight. But do remember, you can drop us a line with your thoughts and your business stories too. You can find us on Twitter. As ever, we are at Mustard TV. The hashtag is Business Extra. And you can also get the latest news by subscribing to our YouTube channel too. Business Extra back same time next week, and Sports Extra at the same time tomorrow night. But for now, my thanks to David for his time tonight, and to you for watching. Have a very good night.